In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to put your logo or any kind of text on another surface in Affinity Photo. Alright, so we've jumped into Affinity Photo and this is the wall that I want to put my logo on. Now, I don't really have an own logo, so I decided to put the YouTube logo on it, which is this one right over here. So let's copy it from Google and let's paste it right in here. So I double click the thumbnail to fit it to the screen, and now I can resize it by using my move tool and position it to wherever I want. So let me press V to select the move tool and let's move it right over here. Now let's grab some text. So I press T on the keyboard to grab the text tool and I click and drag to create this letter. Let me turn on my presentation assistant. And I will set the font to Arial Black and I will just type my channel name. So I am Renzi. So now let's align these ones. Let's say right in the middle. I will group them together by pressing Command G and let's move them into the middle of our document. So I have snapping turned on, as you can see, and it will snap into place wherever I drag my group towards to. So let me position it right around here. And I think I want to make the logo a little bit smaller because it's pretty big. So let's do that quickly. And I think I'm pretty satisfied with it. Now, this is a very important step. For this to work, we've got to rasterize our group. So that's why I put it in a group. Now I can right click the group and I can click rasterize so that it becomes a pixel layer. So now this thing is on one layer. Alright, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to go to our blend ranges. So let's go up here in our layers panel and let's click this little cogwheel right over here. And as you can see, our blend ranges panel has popped up. Now I want to go to the underlying composition ranges and I want to drag this right dot or right node, let's say, all the way to the bottom. So as you can see, it already starts to look like our text is kind of blended in with the wall a little better. So what we've basically done is we've made our logo transparent wherever the brightest pixels of the wall are. Now let's drag the other one to the left as well, all the way down. And as you can see, now our logo completely vanished, but what I want to do is click another point right here in the middle and drag this one up. So I found that this gives the best effect. So what we've basically done is, if I zoom in, you can see that wherever the wall is bright, we see the wall through, and wherever the wall is dark, so where the shadows are, we see the wall through, and everywhere else we see our logo. So now it kind of looks already like our logo is on the wall. But we're not done yet. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that our logo has a little more texture, because as you can see right now, this line is pretty sharp and pretty straight. So I want to make sure that the texture of the wall comes a little bit through the logo, let's say. So let's go up to layer and let's go to new live filter layer and let's go to distort and we want to displace. So the displacement filter, we've also used it in last week's video. So if you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check it out right over here. And in this case, we want to load the map from the layers beneath. So same as in last week's tutorial, we click on load map from layers beneath. And you can see that our logo makes some weird changes actually. Now the pixels is set to 10. If we go all the way further, then you can see that it looks really ridiculous. So this really doesn't make any sense to me. I'd rather keep it like something around 4 pixels or maybe even less, but let's just keep it at 4 pixels in this example. And let's cross this off. So now you can see we have got our displacement map right over here. And the only thing is, because we added a displacement map, now our blend options or blend ranges have disappeared. So if we click the cogwheel, you can actually still see that we have our blend ranges active. However, because we have this live filter applied, we cannot show it anymore. So how does this work and how do we show our blend options or blend ranges again? We have to rasterize the layer again. So let's right click on our logo layer Let's click Rasterize, and now you can see that we have got our logo in place. And if I would zoom in on the edges, now you can see that we've got this really nice texture edges, let's say. So now it actually really looks like our logo is painted on the wall. Now let's go to the second example, and we're actually gonna use the same logo. I forgot to save or to copy an original, so let's just create a new one. So I will go to my YouTube again, I will copy the image and I will paste it right in. There we go. Let me double click the thumbnail so we zoom out to screen, or we fit the screen, and let's make it about this size. Let's press T again to grab the text tool, and I'm gonna type the same thing, or maybe I'm gonna write subscribe now, because why not? So now we do this again, alignment, and center it. Let's move my text a little bit up, and let's group these together. And once they're grouped together, we can align it again with the middle of our screen. So there we've got our new logo, or it's not a logo, it's called subscribe, of course. And we're basically gonna do the same thing. However, to match it to this texture, we have to do one extra step, but I will show you this in a bit. All right, so select the group, which is our logo. So let's right click it and rasterize it to make it one layer. So let's rename this logo, and we're gonna start off by going into the blend ranges again. So let's hit this little cogwheel again, and let's do the same thing. So we're gonna drag the highlights all the way down, but this time we're not gonna do it like this, like we've just done it on the wall. We're gonna do it a little bit different. So we're gonna drag the highlights down, we're gonna drag the shadows more to the right, let's say, and maybe drag this one a little up. Something like this looks very nice to me. So now it actually looks like some shiny print on this fabric, let's say. All right, so let's close our blend options for now. So first step is done, but of course we've got some wrinkles in our texture, and our logo is like perfectly flat, and we've got the wrinkles in our texture. So this doesn't really match yet. So let's first add the displacement map like the last time. So let's go to layer, let's go to new live filter layer, let's go to distort, and let's hit displace. Same thing, let's hit load map from layers beneath, and let's add a little tiny bit of texture. So I think this is too much. Let's go for 4 pixels or something again, maybe 5 in this case. 5 looks good to me, and let's cross this one off. So let's press Command 0 to zoom out, and let's rasterize the layer again so that we will see our blend ranges. All right, so now we have this nice little texture on the edge of our logo, let's say. So let me press Command 0, and now this is where the last step comes in. And we didn't do this on the wall, and that is because the wall is pretty flat. However, now we are dealing with these wrinkles. So next step, what we want to do, and this is going to be the last step of the process, we want to go into the Liquify persona. So let's go to the top left of our screen, and let's click on Liquify persona. Now what we want to do is we want to kind of reshape our logo again so that it matches the background, and that it matches the wrinkles of the fabric. So let's grab the push forward tool actually, and let's make our brush size something like, I think this is kind of okay. And what we want to do now, you see that there's this wrinkle right over here. So that actually means that this part of the wrinkle is higher than whatever you see next to it. So that means that this part of our logo would be pushed a little bit to the right. So let's simply hold and drag all the way to the other side, something like so. And now it already looks a little more like our logo is on the wrinkle. So now we have to do this everywhere. So you can see that over here, this part is a little bit higher, and this is actually way too strong. So let me press Command C. Let's drag the opacity down a little so we can do more subtle changes actually. And let's try to make some wrinkles and some texture so that it actually looks like our logo is on this piece of fabric. And this is basically just trial and error. So you want to see wherever there's a wrinkle and then you want to reshape it a little again so that it kind of looks real. Now the same for the word subscribe, of course. You can see that over here we've got a highlight, so this means that it is closer to the camera. So we want to kind of make a wrinkle right over here. So let me increase my opacity. Let's increase the brush size and let's just try to do one stroke, like something like this. This looks pretty good to me actually, so let's continue to the rest of the word. So I will do one stroke like this and maybe one stroke like so. And I think right over here we want to do one stroke as well. And now you're gonna see that right over here we've got this really deep wrinkle going on. So we want to fix this a little bit. We want to push some of these letters, so a little bit of this I and the B. We want to push it in a wrinkle a little bit. So let's go to our tools panel and let's grab the Liquify freeze tool. And now we kind of want to freeze this part of the letter. So everything that's red is not gonna move. And with the thaw tool, so this is the little fire icon right over here in the tools panel, we can defreeze. So as you can see, I froze a little bit too much. So now I grab the thaw tool and I will defreeze just a bit of this B. Something like so. All right, let's zoom out a little bit by pressing Command minus. Now let's grab our push forward tool again. And now we increase the brush size a little bit. Let's zoom in and just let's push it inwards a little bit. So let's push this stuff a little bit in right over here. All right, I think that is enough. Maybe over here a little bit. Let's zoom out and let's clear our mask. So we can do that right over here in the studio. There's this button, clear mask. All right, and honestly, I think this looks really, really good already. So maybe a subtle change right over here. And of course, take your time, take as long as you want. But for now, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just gonna hit apply for now. All right, and that is how you put your own logo or any piece of text on any kind of surface in Affinity Photo. I hope you've learned something new today, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel in general, or if you love photo manipulation, consider subscribing to my channel. It would mean the world to me. And then I hope to see you in my next video. Ciao.